What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Spawnhour and Theo Ash. And today is kind of a sad episode because it marks the end of the NFL season. The Super Bowl has happened, and it was a fun Super Bowl to watch, but now we don't have any football for how many more? 6 months, you know?
It's a sad episode. It's a sad episode because the Seahawks won and we fucking hate the Seahawks. And Sam Darnold won and we fucking hate Sam Darnold. And I'm just mad at the world because.
And you know what? They didn't even say Emerald City Route Artist on the broadcast. Like, what was the point?
Yep, and I hate Bad Bunny. And Kid Rock was just lip syncing, and his show wasn't good either. And like literally. It was all just terrible, just a terrible evening, you know.
Just terrible, man.
I don't know. I guess I didn't hate it all. I guess I loved the Super Bowl no matter what shape or size it comes in, but that's just me. It wasn't the greatest Super Bowl we've ever seen, but there's still a lot to talk about. And I would argue that this is not the sad episode, because the second that the Super Bowl is over, it's like, yeah, no more football for a long time. But then you dive right into draft coverage, which is always really fun.
That's true.
When you're done with the draft coverage is when it's like, all right. And then it's like May. That's a tough episode. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was exciting and interesting, at least, to see Seattle's defense really cement its place in NFL history. And it'll be interesting to maybe dive in and figure out where exactly does it stand among history's best defenses, because I thought they really took over this game, obviously.
How does this compare to that Broncos defense in, would that have been 2015?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to look back and statistically try to figure that out. I'll say that this Seattle defense was not anchored to as bad of an offense as that Broncos defense was way back when, but they just completely overwhelmed the Patriots offense today on every level, it felt like.
Yeah, Matt, I was trying to get a bit of a clip off. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, I asked how a Super Bowl compared to Super Bowl 50, and you were like, I don't know. How does it compare to the Super Bowl the Browns have been in, douchebag? It was very funny. It was very funny, but I didn't get that moment from you, so it's okay. But no, I thought it was a great Super Bowl, and really both defenses I thought were playing out of this world. It was kind of the script that I had planned for how the Patriots could win this one. Very low scoring, lots of field goals from Seattle early on. Jason Myers hit 5 of them in this game, but this Patriots offense could just never get out of the mud. Will Campbell had like the worst game possible, and Drake May, even when he had time, it felt like struggled. He had a couple of really great throws in this game.
Yeah.
Outside of like 3 plays, just wasn't.
I really think it's a combination, you know, like, yeah, part of the issue is the Patriots, like, just talent straight up. I felt like every time Drake May dropped back, you're immediately watching Will Campbell to see, like, okay, how is he going to hold up as much as anything? But it was guys across on, like, Wilson got really bad a couple of times. But then on top of that, I thought, you know, give Seattle credit. They were getting really creative with their blitzes. And when they got like Witherspoon free, it's like, man, that's kind of the last guy that you want as a free rusher, because he's so quick. It's so tough to just roll out against him. But he's also, you know, like a great tackler. So you're really not paying that much for that speed, if you know what I'm saying. They'd bring a bunch of guys up on the line and then drop them in different ways. And it just felt like, you know, the Patriots offensive line both wasn't ready for that, but then you'd see the replay and you're like, man, I don't really know where May was supposed to get the ball out right there quickly. And then a lot of other plays, it's like, okay, well, May's under pressure here. And was that really the best that he could do in terms of like avoiding the pressure and going out to make a play? It just felt like across the board, what Seattle was doing was not only exciting, and they not only had the talent advantage, but it just felt like every unit on the Patriots offense was a letdown tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Felt like there were a lot of plays where you look and you're like, where is Drake May supposed to go with the ball? Because I think there is some blame to go to Drake May. Obviously, how he dealt with pressure was just unacceptable for a Super Bowl level quarterback, a guy who we're saying should be the MVP of the league, right? That's just Stafford,
He played a really bad game by any metric in any game. At like, it was just terrible. He was missing throws on top of that. And like, even towards the end where it felt like the Patriots, well, it not even felt like they were getting some momentum. It felt like they had a chance. Obviously the Patriots defense did a pretty good job. So it's like, they can get a stop here. Like they can make something happen.
The pick to Julian.
He just gets into this mode where he's trying to get it all back on one throw, or I don't even know if that's what he's thinking, because he was throwing some absolutely ridiculous
I don't even know
passes down the field, just some like mind-bogglingly bad interceptions. And the thing was like, if there had been like 3 minutes to go in the game, you would have been like, well, you know, the time is now. You kind of got to go make it happen. But I mean, there was like, they had the ball down 2 scores with like 9 minutes when he threw that first like total duck that Mac
8:49, second down and 3, down 12 points. 19 to 7. And it's a Yankee concept, it looks like, with a deep post and a crosser. And then you've got, looking at the dots here, you've got cover 1, it seems like to me. And just a really good pass off by the Seahawks on that, like cover 1 with some zone principles or some sort of match, because Diggs runs an in-breaker from the slot and they pass it off to the robbing safety, and then 21 gets depth, which just goes to show what these Seahawks are, I think. Like, is it man? Is it zone? It's just a defense with a good set of rules, and it's just tough to run routes on them downfield because they've got eyes on you and they're passing things off. And yeah, any other team, maybe this would be, you know, very clear what this coverage is, because it looks like 29 is playing man and 27 is playing man, and there's a single high, but you've just got this beautiful pass off in the middle of the field. And then all of a sudden it's now 4 guys deep with just 2 routes down the field. And May just, I mean, he's trying to throw the big post, I think, or maybe he's trying to throw the crosser and just overthrows it. But everybody's doubled because it's really good pass offs downfield, and because the offensive line needs so much help, there's just not a lot of spacing down the field.
My thought was that he first wanted to go to the crosser, and then he thought he was going to be able to get the post deep, but he like didn't correct his throwing angle in time, and so it just kind of like put a little more distance on it, but didn't actually change the direction he was throwing. It's like his mind was going a little faster than his body, but like it's hard to tell who he was going to.
He like literally exactly split the post and the crossing route. Like literally it's impossible to tell based on the dots who he was going to, because he missed both of them completely equally.
Yeah, dude. I do have some criticism with the play calling early in the game. I felt like it was way too conservative.
I thought the opposite, honestly.
I thought early in the game for New England, you know, it's a lot of running, and the run game had some success, and I was good to see them keep doing that. But when they did go to throw it, it was like they were trying to just, Seattle had their number on like every sort of like hot concept they wanted to go to.
Well, there were no hot concepts. Like what? That was my problem with it.
Right. Well, they had,
but
agree. The times that they did have them, it's like Seattle had them drawn up, right? It's like Seattle was waiting for them. It's like they played into Seattle's hand every chance they got. I just wanted to see them, you know, maybe not necessarily be more aggressive, but it's like when they did throw the ball, when the ball actually got out of Drake May's hands, it was like behind the line of scrimmage most of the time. And I thought that was very lame.
Well, I thought a lot of their routes were down the field. You know, the route going behind the line of scrimmage isn't necessarily a play call. It's where the ball goes. And I just wondered, like, you've got Kyle Williams on the roster. How about a screen to him? Like, with coming out of school, his start-stop was so ridiculous, right? He was such a good yak player. Like, why not maybe make things easier on your quarterback with some screens to him, to Henderson, to Hunter Henry, like getting him over the ball, just settling down. Like, where was any of that? I felt like it was almost 4 verticals every player, or some sort of, you know, 7-step and break in type route from the receivers. Like it seemed to me like this entire postseason, there have been so many far-reaching, like attacking downfield concepts for the Patriots, and they just haven't been able to protect them. And
Yeah.
like the strip sack, I think that they had. I mean, I think it was like two go balls in a bender, and then it's a blitz from Witherspoon, and McDonald was deep in his bag. Like
Yeah, he was.
Witherspoon hadn't blitzed like this in his entire career. He sent him 5 times. He's got him like moving laterally before the snap, so it's almost like a motion for the defense. So he's got this running start. They force a slide the other way, and then there's an overload on the other side. Like, and then all the routes just haven't looked at May yet, and he's waiting, and takes a sack. Like,
Right.
I get that the throws, there were some throws that he made that were horrific misses, no doubt about it. But I feel like a lot of the sacks that he took, I'm like, dude, you know you can't protect. Like, and these receivers aren't getting a ton of separation. Like, I almost felt like they should run the ball more and run more screens and like
run more
attack
with
underneath. And where's the design? Yeah, that's exactly right. Where's like a May read option? He can run the football, you know?
There was nothing, there was at no point where you're like, that's a clever scheme up by the Patriots, even early in the game where you're like, okay, that's some easy button stuff. I 100% agree.
You brought that up in our preview episode too. You're like, if we come out of this game and it's like 5 rushes for 60 yards from Drake May, we might look at it and be like, yeah, it was really efficient, but it doesn't do anything for you offensively, really, truly. And he had 5 for 37 in this one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times too, it's like, it's not just the offensive line losing, but with those stunts. Like there was one time early in the game where May like really takes advantage of the area that they abandoned. But sometimes it's like the stunt would come a little late and all of a sudden, I forget who it was rushing around the edge, bending back in and taking away that lane from May that I feel like made him question when he could and couldn't like just pull the trigger and run in a game where, especially like, yeah, bunch of deep concepts and you don't trust the O-line, you would want to run the ball like 10 times if you could do it if you're May.
Yeah, I think that it's such a guarantee you're getting pressure around the edge too that everyone just stops and waits. Like, we know that Derek Hall can push the pocket on Will Campbell, even if it's a chip, right? We can survive the chip for 1 second. It messes up their spacing. And then here he comes around the edge. It's going to force May to step up. We know this. And so you literally see Hall being the featured rusher and then 3 defensive tackles basically just standing there waiting for it to happen. And it works. It works. Like it's just, you got to be able to protect against a 4-man rush. We've seen it 2 Super Bowls in a row now where a team just can't do it and they get smoked. And I think to some extent with May, again, this was the worst playoff run maybe ever. Steven Ruiz tweeted out the list of EPA generated over the course of a playoffs. May's dead last, 29.
Below 2015 Peyton Manning, who
below 2015 Peyton Manning,
5 yards or whatever.
Wow.
So obviously May could do more, but sometimes I feel like he couldn't have balled out with the offensive line, and sometimes I look at some of their sacks especially and be like, you can't watch car crash footage and be like, the guy should have jumped out of the side right before it happened, like, and rolled. Like, he could have made it. Like, sometimes you just can't do much. Like, the situation is just too bad. And man, on a couple of the sacks specifically, I felt that way. It's like, wow, who on earth is Riley Mills? Trivia question: do you guys know where Riley Mills went to college? Do you even know who I'm talking about?
Dame.
Good call, Matt.
Damn.
I'd never seen Riley Mills before. Number 98, like bull rushing Jared Wilson. And again, that's a full progression concept, right? Like, front side read isn't there. May resets, goes to the backside. And by that time, it's just over because the left side just cannot survive a bull rush. So it's like, well, at that point, again, maybe he could have gone beast mode. Lamar Jackson might do some crazy stuff. But I don't know. I thought there was just a lot of like, yeah, this one is just over on the merits of the offensive line. Maybe if there were some completions that were hit, and I think they still lose. Like, I really think they still lose, even if you turn some of those really, really egregious misses into completions.
Theo, do you want another Riley Mills trivia question?
Yes, more than anything.
How many snaps did he play this year?
0.
Ooh.
Like 14, like on defense or special teams?
Total.
Total?
Yes. I'll tell you higher or lower.
Okay. Did he play 30 snaps?
Lower.
Holy cow.
You're close though. You're really
And he bitched Jared Wilson. Like that was a dominant rep. I'm like, holy cow,
it was a
Leonard.
straight up win. It was no cleanup BS. He won badly.
I was like, wow, Leonard Williams, here we go. $5 to win 500 on my Super Bowl MVP pick. Useless because they didn't even need Leonard Williams. Like literally everyone was eating.
Yeah, dude. Just an awful offensive line performance, really, truly. Yeah, it's like it's not all Drake May's fault, but also there's some sacks where you do feel like he should be more aggressive at like getting out of the pocket with his
I wish he was
legs.
less predictable with what he did when he's under pressure. Like,
yeah.
When he's under pressure, he's going to step up and attack the A and B gaps, right? So again, when those defensive tackles are just kind of standing there, it feels like their cleanup job is pretty easy around Drake May. Where again, if they're going after Josh Allen or Lamar or Mahomes or Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, like who knows what they might do? You know, like they might slip through the skinniest hole. They might go back. They might attack the sidelines. Like there's just a lot of variation in the way that they create plays out of structure. And with May in these playoffs, it feels like it's always the same script with him where, again, I feel a little like some of these plays, it's, go beast mode, right? Like just why doesn't he make all the defensive linemen miss when he's under pressure?
Dude, Sam Darnold made plays like that in this one, right?
No doubt.
It's not even about like being predictable, I feel like, as much as it is he just isn't slippery. His body's just made of glue. Like these defensive linemen can just get a hold of him so easily in ways that they just the Patriots weren't able to do, even though they have Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. Like those guys, Sam Darnold was slipping through their hands all night long. And you see the same thing with Williams and Daniels and all those other guys. So it is very interesting the way that Drake May does kind of just like fold into the pressure a little bit. I wonder how much of that was also him being worried about turnovers, like him not wanting to fumble the football. And so he's like covering it maybe a little bit early.
Yeah. 20
ended up turning the ball over a lot. So
26% pressure to sack rate, according to Summer Sports. And that's 8.8% above NFL average. And he should always be below the NFL average.
Yeah.
There.
Yep. Not great.
Not great. What do you guys think about Ken Walker winning Super Bowl MVP? I mean, really, he's playoff MVP as far as I'm concerned.
I thought that he totally deserved it. I thought there were a number of defenders that you also could have looked at, like Witherspoon was really big again on those blitzes, but was also just like totally locked down or whatever. And I guess like, for this great defense, I would have loved to see it go to that side of the ball. But the truth is, so many plays in this game, I thought Seattle's offensive line just did not create an opportunity on these rushes for Walker, and he would just go out there and make one out of nothing anyway. The number of times he bounced it outside, and then you're like, all right, that's better than nothing, and then he would take it for a big chunk was incredible. So I thought he was really worthy of it, even though like I don't think he got a touchdown or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
they kind of robbed him of a touchdown at the end. That was like kind of a soft holding call at that point in the game, I thought.
It was. I at the end of the last Seahawks press conference that we went to, I was trying to ask Ken Walker about his vision. It's like, oh, what are you seeing on tape that makes you confident that you can hit these gaps that don't really seem to exist when you cut? And we kind of got cut off as they're like, it's like, all right, guys, wrap it up.
I mean, I asked Zabel about him, and Zabel said, like, yeah, he bails us out constantly.
There was that one play where was it not Zabel who got pushed, like way back into Kenneth Walker's lap or whatever, and Walker still is able to like be patient enough and bounce that thing outside. It was just an incredible game from him. He's unbelievably talented, and what a run for a guy. Free agent as of right now. Shout out to him. He should get a bag.
How long have I been telling people that he has good vision? I'm feeling vindicated about him. That's how I feel about him winning Super Bowl MVP. Like oh, he's a bounce merchant. Oh, his vision is terrible behind the line of scrimmage. Like, his vision is elite. His vision has been elite. You saw the patience tonight where he came to full stops behind
he's
a line.
he's really come together. You know, he's turned.
It's always
turned
been like this. It's just that when you stop behind the line of scrimmage and your offensive line sucks, then you just get tackled, even though you're trying to wait for that hole to open and it never does. And now that he's got even like not even an elite offensive line in front of him, but like an okay one. Booyah! There you go. All you needed was some tight ends and a fullback, and he could cook. Like,
it wasn't even always the offensive line in this one. Is like he was breaking a lot of tackles. Like, it's almost like he hit the weight room hard before these playoffs, man. These last couple of weeks before Super Bowl, he's just been doing squats. Really, truly, every single anything that was even remotely close to an arm tackle, he just ran right through it. That is, combined with the lateral quickness, makes him as dangerous as any back.
Yeah, I think with Kenneth Walker, the patience is incredible and it has been and all of that, and the vision is good. But I just think that a guy like him with his talent has more options than a lot of these other guys as much as anything. I think there's times where he can break it out and find corners that other dudes can't. And I absolutely think there's a combination of like that speed, but also the strength that means that you really got to meet him to stop him when he's getting outside. So I thought he perfectly deserved Super Bowl MVP. As good as the defense was, as good as the special teams was.
I was about to say, even over Jason Myers, who broke the NFL record for most field goals in a game.
That would have been a terrible pick. Sorry.
I don't think that would have been a terrible.
It would have been.
It would have been a terrible pick. It would have been.
It would have been.
I mean, what was the longest field goal?
Horrifying. Bad.
41. 41 was
okay. Like you and me can hit 41-yard field goal.
I'm sending Chad Ochocinco out there, and I'm saving a little bit of cash.
Yeah, just because he scores the points doesn't mean he's adding the value. Like, who got him down to kick the field goals?
Now, I'll say this: if he had hit 5 field goals, 3 of them from 50 plus, and like a game winner or something, all right, like I'll have a conversation about it. But you just don't get Super Bowl MVP for kicking 38 yarders. I'm sorry, no disrespect, awesome performance. The record is dope. Kenneth Walker was better in this game.
He was. Here's the question. If he's an unrestricted free agent, does he stay in Seattle?
Kenneth Walker?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know why.
He would after this game, like he really was one of the most valuable players for your team. I understand that running back, is not always a position that you want to give huge money to, but it really feels like their running game could be a tier or two below what it is right now or what it has been during this run if you didn't have him. Is that worth, I don't know, 12, 13 million bucks a year? I think the answer is undoubtedly yes. A lot of the reason why you feel okay about this Seattle offense, even though like Darnold has turnover issues and the offensive line is far from perfect, is because they've got these great guys who can hit explosive plays or can make things happen when everything else breaks down. You want those dudes on your team. And I just don't have any issue paying Walker.
Yeah, they've got quite a few guys to bring back, but it doesn't look like enough to where they shouldn't be able to pay Walker, because I think they're top 5 in cap space this year. But it's Shaheed, Mafe, Ken Walker, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen. I think are the main guys that they'll need to.
I mean, Zach Charbonnet just never looked like this in his life. Like,
no, dude.
Like hanging back, waiting for the blocks to develop, feeling like your heartbeat is 40 beats per minute in the biggest game of your life against a good defense, just sidestepping people in the hole, having contact balance, like spinning off contact, just everything about him was so elite in this game. And yeah, like you said, Matt, there were so many times where they hand it to him and he's stringing people out towards the sideline and it's like, wow, there's nothing there, and then he somehow still finds a corner. Like it's pretty unbelievable. 4.7 yards per carry so far in these playoffs, and I guess I don't know what it is now because Pro Football Reference hadn't updated.
Sure,
it's probably something closer to 5 now. Charbonnet is at 4 yards a carry in his career. Like 4.1, that is. He was at 4 this year. I just think you're getting like an extra half yard basically every time Walker touches the ball compared to Sharps. So I'd
Yeah.
and they're not that expensive. Like running backs, all this dialogue about them has just driven their price down more and more, where it's like, man, Walker is this for you in the course of this playoff run, and it's like really pocket change in the grand scheme of the new cap still. Plus, at this point, no one will blame you for bringing him back. Like everybody wants him back, so
Right.
let's just.
I'm doing it for the jersey.
This should be a move that if you make it, it can't be held against you because everybody in Seattle would do it.
And how old is Walker? 25, 26?
He's 25. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like you can.
October.
All right, I feel like you can relatively. It's not like he's a 28-year-old back or anything, so you can give him a second contract and not have to worry too much about like getting a bunch of post prime years. I would hope, or at least you're probably not going to give a bunch of guaranteed money to what you would project to be post prime years. I would bring him back. Your Super Bowl MVP. But I'm also, there's other teams out there where I'm like, man, I'd be willing to pay Walker to have somebody who I felt like could be a threat just underneath or creating. And there's some rough teams with a lot of money to spend who got to find something to do. So we'll see.
That's what I'm thinking more than like Seattle opts not to continue with him is they just get outbid. Like someone just comes in and wants to pay.
It could happen. I mean, there's always got to be a line. I want to get back into the game though.
Yes, before we do that, of course, we got to talk about one of our favorite apps, Cash App. Using Cash App all the time, paying people back after trips, splitting food, sending money to group chat, commissioner, whoever just forgets the dues reminder, it makes life easier. And the Cash App card is actually really fun. Most debit cards are boring. They look like you found them on the floor of a rental car. If I could design mine perfectly, I'd probably put, little Myles Garrett on there. Maybe the Lombardi trophy when the Browns are holding it, of course. Maybe a pay the tab button for whoever lost the bet. And imagine the perfect discount based on where you spend the most. For me, it'd be, probably the Cleveland Browns Pro Shop or something. I don't know. Or maybe buying guitars, Sweetwater or something. Now, I need to hit this part exactly, so make sure you guys listen up very closely. Cash App just released a new status program for the way people actually spend called Cash App Green. It unlocks ways for you to pay, get rewarded, and easily grow or manage your money on your terms. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with the Cash App card or Cash App Pay, you earn green status, which unlocks benefits like up to $200 of free overdraft coverage, higher borrow limits, and personalized custom cashback offers every Friday at places that you love to shop. Turn everyday spending into status with Cash App Green. Download Cash App today or visit cash.app/new to learn about this and other great features launching now. And here is the mandatory sign-up bonus info. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use the code CashApp10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Cash App Green, overdraft coverage, borrow, cashback offers, and promotions provided by Cash App, A Block Incorporated brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Matt, what did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about how your mic is popping a little bit, so if you can move it back just a tiny amount, that would be awesome. And then I wanted to ask you guys a question. How do you think Sam Darnold played in this game?
Mid.
I agree. I thought it was a fine performance. I thought that he had some good moments and some bad moments.
Yep.
There were a number of moments where he stepped up and through the pocket and was nimble doing so and kept his eyes downfield that I was incredibly impressed by. There were also a number of throws that he missed that I really thought he should have hit. And I thought the Seahawks were pretty conservative for a lot of this game, in large part because of him. And I think they were right to be so. I was a little disappointed when he missed that throw out of the pocket to JSN. When he had him behind the entire defense and they just couldn't quite connect. It's not an easy throw, But also, JSN was pretty screaming wide open. I thought he had a lot of room to put that if he didn't lead him so far out. I was really frustrated when he underthrew JSN right before halftime on that post where he got Gonzo. And it was a great play by Gonzalez to come back and get that or whatever, but that thing should have been a touchdown. So
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like Darnold's greatest performance. There are also a number of plays in this one where it's like they're lucky it wasn't a Darnold turnover where somebody gets back and around and Darnold didn't react to pressure and he either got the ball, if he threw it against somebody's helmet, the thing bounces wildly in the air. Luckily, it's 15 yards backwards, so nobody has a chance at getting it. But, a ball like that just as easily could have been, off,
Straight up in the air.
yeah, straight up or whatever. So I thought it was an okay performance. I don't want to hate on Darnold too much. Like just
No.
Super Bowl, his story is cool and whatever. But like, I thought it was only a fine game for.
Yeah, I think it was a story that told me that just quarterback doesn't matter that much. Like it does matter a lot, but
Of course,
Darnold on a cheap contract is a great thing to have. But the key is kind of on a cheap contract. You know what I mean? Because yeah, it is Witherspoon and it's the D line and Julian Love and K9 who really stand out to me, and JSN when you think about the story overall. And Darnold was a shepherd, and Darnold was, a quarterback, right? But he wasn't a dominant player, but the Seahawks were a dominant team that really rolled to the Super Bowl and threw it. I think he played really good versus the Rams. And I think tonight, I was really impressed that he didn't take more sacks than he did. I think that was kind of his great superpower tonight. But I agree, like they're lucky Gonzo didn't pick that thing off. And
right.
Overall, it wasn't. I think May had the best 2 throws of the game, probably in terms of like that was unbelievable.
3 throws of the game.
What was the third outside of the 2 back-to-back?
Yeah, the 2 back-to-back was obviously the ones that stand out. He had a 1, not the drive after that, but I think the drive after that, or maybe it was on their second touchdown drive where he hit 1. I think it might have been to Pop Douglas, but I don't have it like off the top of my head. But he had a, or maybe it was to Diggs. It was either to Douglas or to Diggs. That I remember was another really great throw. But those 2 specifically, yes, back to back.
Yeah.
Coming, because at that point you're thinking, he had just talked to Vrabel, and Vrabel was smiling, so there's like, is he locked in? Like, is he dialed now? And then he hit those 3 throws. He had just come off like the scrambled, and you're like, okay, if he's doing all 3 of those things back to back to back, they have a chance to come out and win this game. But obviously that didn't sustain.
Right.
And I think Darnold overall played a better game than May did.
Oh yeah.
Like no question there. But yeah, I mean, the number of missed throws that he had. I mean, Matt, you named.
19 of 38, 202 attempts, 202 yards, negative
right.
0.01 EPA per play. Very, very neutral game statistically, and a very neutral game overall. I think you can look at the box score and say that makes a lot of sense, honestly. And I just think I think teams should keep this performance in mind when they think about the draft and when they think about the quarterback that they need to take, where, look, man, you need a quarterback, you do, but you also just need Leonard Williams, and you need D-Law, and you need all these other points. And again, the order that you put the team together in isn't the most important, because they drafted Witherspoon before they got this quarterback, and they traded for Williams before they got this quarterback, and they drafted K9 in the second round before they got this quarterback, right? Why did they do that? Why did they draft running back so high 2 years in a row? It's an F draft because of that. No, it wasn't. So I just think keep that in mind when you're building a team, right? It doesn't have to be, oh, well, we don't have a quarterback, we need to take one. When like there's, if the Jets are thinking about who they need to take it to, think about Caleb Downs. He's a Seahawks defense in a bottle a little bit. Like you want somebody who You want somebody who lets you play that type of way, lets you fit the run from a too high shell, prevents explosive plays, does all those things. There's somebody out here who gives you that kind of play style. And that's what won the Seahawks the Super Bowl. A quarterback is definitely something you need to not be terrible, but if you really want to win something, you got to have great players all over the place. And Sam Darnold is a great player and was a great player this year, I think, and makes the Seahawks dangerous because of his sack avoidance right now and because he can hit every throw on the field. But definitely not, the most consistent guy who goes through full games mistake free.
Yeah, I think about the Raiders more so than the Jets as far as like who to potentially take this blueprint from.
Yeah,
They have Crosby, and people are talking about a Crosby trade, but I'm like, maybe you just want to keep him around, keep building out that defense. Maybe take a defensive player first overall, or trade out of that first overall pick. Like I obviously Geno was bad last year, and all of us Geno truthers can go hide behind a wall forever, but and they do need a quarterback, but maybe there are options outside of like reaching on Mendoza at number 1. Like you could get a haul of assets, you could find other ways to build out this team, and you could continue to build out the line, continue to build out the defense. I think there are better options on the table.
and I think he's also a lesson in, when he was at his lowest points with the Jets, you could watch those games and find big time throws that he hit and say like, he didn't play that bad. And I had a video about that versus a Bills game that he had where he was at a really, really low point, and there's some TikTok that I have where it's like, man, he didn't play that bad in this game. And I think about that throw versus the 49ers that he had where he was rolling left and sidearmed it. And I remember that being used as something like, look at Darnold, he's still got all this potential in him. He's just on the Jets. And it can be true. Like it can genuinely be true that when
is
a player
there another
is
quarterback that
there
are
about
right now, Theo?
I don't know who they are. But it's never crazy to say. Well, I think Richardson is one. Right?
I know. I can name another.
Matt Corral. Hope is never over. It's never over. It's like Jeff Buckley said. Like you can hold on, man. Like you really can, and it doesn't take that many throws. It takes a certain type of throw, but it doesn't take many to say like, look, there's still something there, dude. Even if there's a vast cut up of lowlights.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I feel like for the last couple of years, I've really been thinking like, we've talked about it a bunch of times on here. Like, if you're not good after your first couple of years, you're probably not going to be that great as a quarterback at the NFL level. And on some level, that's true still. Look at the top 10 QBs in the NFL, rank them, then tell me how many guys weren't like, all right, within the first couple of seasons. But there definitely is more room for becoming better as a QB than maybe I've thought. The issue is finding the balance between that and we're through 2 years of a first round selected QB and they look really bad, and being like, there's no way you can judge them at all. There's no judgment that you can make on them.
Yeah.
And it's like how every fan base of every young quarterback does. So
again, they need to hit. There's certain throws that they need to be kind of hitting consistently, and then I like Zach Wilson wasn't hitting impressive throws consistently. I think
Zach Wilson was just a completely different type of talent, we'll say, than Darnold is.
And then there are others where it's like, man, you can tell that their process is maybe they never figure it out, but there are some bones there. I don't know. You could have done that with Sam Darnold. So whatever that means to you, you can read it however you want with the players that you like. But it is never over. And like, if you were really high on Sam Darnold and had him QB1 in his draft class, like, how are you feeling right now? Like, are you feeling probably like it still wasn't a bad take, but you're feeling like, hey, I got laughed at all those years ago, right? I got laughed at all those years ago that he's a bust. He's terrible. And he wasn't terrible. Like, look at this. can I victory lap? Like, what can I do with this? I don't know.
You can't victory lap.
Yeah,
that, but
Lamar
You can
and
say, hey,
Josh.
it's not that bad. There's MVPs in the class.
There's MVPs, but how many of them have Super Bowls?
Yeah, but we just spent a whole big segment talking about how it's more than just the quarterback.
It is more than just.
But money matters a lot. The opportunity cost of the contract, I think, matters a lot.
I would
That's what
have Allen and Lamar contracts.
I would too.
I don't think.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely true. The other part of this that we need to talk about, we talked about Gonzo obviously, but this Patriots defense kept them in this game for a large portion of it, even through a lot of big Ken Walker runs. They also had a lot of times where they stopped Ken Walker behind the line of scrimmage, lots of tackles for losses in this game. I feel like you still have to be pretty confident. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, this really was the schedule merchant team. I still feel like the Patriots have a lot of upward trajectory. Like, I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl hangover team necessarily.
They could be.
I feel like they're in a better spot than Cincinnati was. But maybe that's...
Honestly, I don't remember how good of a spot Cincinnati was in. I don't remember. I actually maybe disagree. Cincinnati had all these young stars on offense, and you're like, they just got to build out the offensive line. But unless Cincinnati was like particularly up against the cap, I don't remember thinking like, I mean, Cincinnati ended up getting back to the AFC Championship game and played a close one with the Chiefs.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like Cincinnati was way off the next year. Their defense was also really good, and they had these big stars in the young quarterback and whatever. It's not to say that I think the Patriots are in a particularly bad spot. I just think, like, if they don't have a good offseason, they're not going to be back here for sure. They've got to go out and make it happen. And I think they're in a fine position, but, like, how good is their offensive line? Where is the game-changing weapon on this team right now? Those are really big questions to answer if you're them. And it's like you look at their last draft, and it's like Henderson, like, disappointing year one. Campbell, I mean, like, the storyline of your playoff run, outside of the fact that, like, you kept making it happen, was like, he's been an issue. Those aren't great signs. I agree that, like, their defense got better as the year went on. Milton Williams, I've been finding myself very jealous that he's not a Carolina Panther. I'm madder about that now than I am when it happened, if I'm being honest with you. And the sack that he had in this game, where was it against Bradford?
It was.
But he got against, and then Walker chips him, and then he works back the other way entirely and gets to Darnold like quickly. I mean, it
was an impressive tackle, I thought, too. He kind of drove his legs and bent well, falling, and was able to get it done that way.
So I thought it was insane. And, like the interior defensive line for the Patriots, I thought absolutely lived up to the billing that we were talking about before this game played. But I don't know. I still think there's a lot of work to be done. Great defense.
Yeah,
they played a great game.
The offensive line is the problem because, like, who exactly are you drafting as a replacement? Because you need a wide receiver, and you need maybe, like, I guess it would be line if you're thinking about their needs in the draft. But it's not the hardest thing. It's not the easiest thing to, like, replace Will Campbell. He's just a 4th overall pick, and he's got these flaws.
Right.
And maybe move into guard or something like that. I don't know.
Move him into guard and take a tackle. Yeah, I could see that.
Probably.
I could see that.
Moses wasn't exactly like a revelation in this game, so you could possibly.
No, he's just fine.
Still draft one.
They brought in Bradbury.
He had a play. He had a play where he like chipped Witherspoon or like got a piece of him, like didn't like affect him at all. And then that might have been the play where Witherspoon made his sack regardless.
It's just going to be tough for them to find like big upgrades, I feel like, because they've got a lot of fine players, but like not necessarily people who would be like field tilters, like Ramondre Stevenson. He's good. He's a good player, but is he like
what you're saying?
Is he a field tilting player like Kayshon Boutte? He's fine, but you probably got to replace him somewhere down the line. So maybe they could package a bunch of players for like a trade. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know if you necessarily have to replace Kayshon Boutte as much as like he just can't be the number one option.
Well, then you got to replace someone else, like
You gotta find your podium players, like your true stars. We talked about this. They have a number of them on defense, but on offense, it's just May. They don't have a JSN where we talk about like how do you possibly win this matchup, or they don't have like I guess like Henderson is supposed to be one of those guys for them. They're supposed to be like this guy can go and create an explosive, and you've got to like really game plan around how do we not let him do that. And I mean, the only times that he started getting handoffs, so when you're like, the Patriots aren't winning this game unless they hit an explosive, so let's pitch it to Henderson and hope that he's just so dang fast or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes, for sure.
And it would be nice if he was somebody who you're not pulling out in case of emergency because our offense is awful, and instead somebody where it's like he can handle the entire workload and then he finds one naturally because I've given him the ball 15 times this game.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like, well, we're just gonna like say this is the play we're trying to get an explosive. It's not I don't know, that easy.
Yeah, and you think the first sign that the Patriots were gonna lose this game is like the intros at the beginning when they roll through the offense, and it's like, oh, this is not as good as what I just saw from the Seahawks.
It's May and friends.
It's May and friends, and Diggs, right, is supposed to be that guy, right? Diggs is supposed to be that guy. He's supposed to be their wide receiver one, and he's playing like a bum. And I mean, this is the year that he's making $8 million, and it goes up to 28 next year and 26.5 the year after that. So it's like
cap space do they have? A decent amount, right?
Yeah, I think they're 12th in cap this year.
Whatever.
It's nothing crazy, but
they spent big last off season.
Right. They have $33 million available right now, which is 12th.
Yeah, I just feel like on offense, there's just a lot of fine. And with a tougher schedule, like clearly it's not okay. Like, where do we expect their offense to rank next year? Like the projection might be, I'm really curious about that, where the projections are going to be when I roll through like the FTN Almanac and they do all their statistical work, because it was so good in the regular season. And a lot of times regular season should outweigh postseason, right? And that's what I believe. But I mean, the Patriots are an example of a team where it's hard to ignore what you just saw. Like that was literally the worst EPA run in postseason history by Drake May.
Four straight
games of turnovers and just chaos. And it's like, how can you feel good about that unit going into next year with a harder schedule?
Yeah, a first place schedule, right? I'm looking at their top 10 players as far as cap hit for next season. Number 1, Milton Williams. Number 2, Stephon Diggs. Number 3, Mike Onwenu. Number 4, Carlton Davis. Number 5, Christian Barmore. There's some good players here. Number 6, Harold Landry. Number 7, Robert Spillane. Number 8, Hunter Henry. Number 9, Morgan Moses. And number 10, Drake May.
Well, how much is like Henry and Moses? And
it's like 10 million. It's like 10 million. But like, you just look at like the top paid players on this team, and it's like, it's their 2 big interior defensive linemen. It's Carlton Davis, and then it's like Diggs.
Do you feel better about the Patriots or the Bills going into next year?
That's a good question.
I probably feel better about going into the off season.
Yeah.
So not the final take on who I think will be better for 2026.
No, obviously we're going to talk in August, and we're going to be back NFC East predictions, we'll actually have a clear picture of who's on the roster. But right now, in the wake of Super Bowl 60,
I feel a little bit better about the Patriots, man.
Okay.
The Bills. Would you rather have Patriots or Bills defense as it stands right now?
I'd rather have the Patriots defense.
Who has more resources to work with this offseason, Patriots or Bills? Definitely Patriots. Bills are expensive as hell. Are they still paying Von Miller $900 million? We don't know. They won't say.
They won't say.
I mean, Allen is obviously like awesome, and I think, there was some weird parts of the year for him and how it finished, but like, maybe I still consider him like a tick better than May overall, but May is
for sure.
Obviously,
I mean, no doubt.
May's a difference making like quarterback in his own right, even if he's had a bad bad stretch. But yeah, I'd give the Bills that edge. But then receiver, even if I agree that they don't have like a game changer, I do have more faith a little bit as it stands right now in the receiver room versus the Bills. I'd rather have Diggs and Booty than them. But of course, the Bills have a massive offensive line advantage. But the Bills are in a position to probably lose guys unless they get really aggressive with restructuring or whatever. Whereas I don't know if the Patriots are quite in that bad of a spot. So I think I would rather be the Patriots. The Patriots have Drake May on a rookie contract. I'd rather be them. I don't think it's any more complicated than that, if I'm being honest. Maybe the Bills have a miraculous offseason. Again, you could always just like draft 3 really good players and be in a totally different spot or whatever. But I think the Bills are incredibly expensive while being fundamentally flawed on both sides of the ball at like kind of expensive positions. Wide receiver is a disaster for them and teams can totally bottle them up. And they don't have an elite edge rusher, which is the most expensive position. They're already paying Allen big money. There's more offensive line contracts on the way. They're in a really, really difficult position.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about how you would want to, I guess, attack this offseason if you're New England. And I guess we don't have to go into that fully now, but it's just like with your first round pick, would you rather go receiver or offensive line? And I'm kind
it
of
depends on how the board falls and who you think is there. I wouldn't be against them looking at a big receiver trade, though. That would be the quickest way to really change your offense, but you got to build out the offensive line.
You do. You have to build out the offensive line. There's a lot of offensive linemen available in free agency right now. A lot of them are from Cleveland, so maybe you don't want all of those guys because they weren't very good this year. But if you feel like you can,
definitely don't want to spend money on bad offensive.
Don't want to spend money on bad offensive linemen. But like if you feel like Wyatt Teller still has some juice, or Joel Bitonio still has some juice, that might be better than what you're dealing with right now. But that doesn't help your tackle problem either. I know Havenstein he's like 34, but he's a free agent as well. So maybe you could call him. I don't know. There's some options. Alec Pierce is an unrestricted free agent. He's probably going to cost $1.5 bags, but could be someone to open up your vertical passing offense a little bit more than it already has been. So,
him and May would be nice. Maybe then 989 and would actually work.
989. Hey, that's my favorite play call, Theo. Or mine's more 998, but
998. That's the same shit, isn't it?
Well, if you're going left to right, 989 that's 2x1, and then it's go post go. I go 3x0, and I do go post.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
You're talking in like the 4 verts play, but there's no 4th vert from the X.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's if you want to include the 4th route, it's the tight end, so it'd be 9987. So, but did you guys see that Jamar Chase is officially Fabletics' first NFL ambassador? He just dropped his first collection, and it's exactly what you'd expect. Effortless tees, oversized hoodies, and all the comfy stuff you actually want to live in this time of year. I jumped on it because, Fabletics VIP, get first dibs on the new gear, and yeah, dude, it delivers. When you sign up with the new VIP, as a new VIP with Fabletics, you get 80% off of everything. And you fully expect it to be one of those too good to be true deals. It really isn't. The quality genuinely is incredible. The pieces feel like high-end activewear that you'd normally pay a couple $100 for, but you're getting that same premium fit and durability for the fraction of that price. And at that point, the VIP membership basically pays for itself. And the fit really, truly is dialed in. No waistband sliding down, joggers that actually keep their shape, jackets that keep you warm without feeling bulky. Everything is soft, breathable, flexible, perfect for workouts, travel days, or those New Year fresh start mornings when you just want to throw something on and feel put together. Order a set for those chilly morning workouts, and it can keep you warm without overheating, which, of course, is huge. It also helps knowing Fabletics isn't just some online brand. They've got over 2 million VIP members and more than 100 retail stores, so it feels like a brand that people trust and stick by once they try it. Fabletics already has incredible deals, but I've got an exclusive offer just for you. Get 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP. And yes, that includes Jamar Chase's first drop. Just head to fabletics.com/stayhot Take the style quiz and make sure you select Stay Hot when prompted to unlock your 80% off. That's fabletics.com/stay hot. Now, guys, we can keep talking about the Super Bowl, but if you guys don't have anything else, I think we also need to talk about NFL honors.
I want to talk about the halftime show.
And yes, yeah, we got to talk about that.
We got to talk about the halftime show. Bad Bunny, man. You know what I didn't? I thought it was, I like got like tripped up when I saw all the bushes were people, dude. that freaked me out. But everything else was
all the
sick.
bushes being people is low-key genius because you could move the set, right? All the bushes can move and create more or less space and create
I love the set. I thought
the set was unbelievably good.
It was really cool.
I thought, and I liked everybody's outfits as well.
I feel like it's definitely the most creative set that we've seen because I feel like a lot of times it's just like a stage of some sort or like some
yes, I agree.
Manufactured version of a stage.
It's like I feel like every Super Bowl set is going for some sort of like sleek type of look or whatever, and this went the exact opposite way, and it was really cool because of it. I also liked when they showed on the Jumbotron, they're like, hate is bad, love is good. I was like 100% agree, 100% with you on that. And Minnie, I'm not saying that because I'm like sarcastically like, no, I
said love is the only thing more powerful than hate is what I believe it said.
Something along those lines.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like an anti-US halftime show, which is the thing that is so funny to think about.
I loved that they did that because there were so many people who were ready to like really get on it and, say this isn't culturally what an American league should be like. And instead they kind of leaned the other way where it's like, well, what are you going to say if they're saying God bless America and we're all Americans and we should all not hate and all that. So I thought they
they want to hate, right? That's their so it is anti the hate, but it was such a beautiful, I mean, it was so beautiful, and the cameras being above them and below them and all sorts of things, like it was just mind-blowing cinematography, and I was legitimately like the end with everybody singing was so beautiful, like with all the flags. It was a gorgeous show. I liked the wedding. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked the kids sleeping on the chairs that he woke up in the wedding scene. Just a million little details that I thought were just so visually stunning and so cool. And I thought he sounded great. Like maybe he was lip syncing because I'm sure it's hard to climb and jump and fall backwards off the podium.
I don't think he was. I mean, there could be parts that might be supplemented, but
it didn't seem like he was.
Yeah, most of these artists are like, they do pretty high intensity training for these types of shows. So I'd be shocked if he was like fully lip syncing the whole thing.
It didn't seem like he, like it would have been really impressive almost if he was, because it was so clean. Like you're looking for that, but I really don't think that he was. Like it seemed like a very real performance, like with his energy like matching the vocals. I feel like in past Super Bowls, like in the early 2010s, like maybe the Black Eyed Peas Super Bowl, there was more obvious lip syncing was like more obviously a problem, or it not feeling authentic was more obviously a problem. And with this one, like it felt, I think he was singing, and I think he gained a lot more confidence as it went on, was the other thing I noticed. I think he started a little bit nervous, and then after he fell off the wedding scene box and a bunch of people caught him, then he started really like talking his shit and feeling himself. And I smiled at that because I felt like you could just visually see him and hear him getting like more and more. I thought that was like confident.
Part of the show was like the progression of the story almost. Like after he's like his full confident self now. That's kind of how I saw it. But
yeah, that's true.
I was trying to figure out with the wedding people. I'm like, should I know these? I thought like, who are these people? Because there's no way they're playing this big, but they're actually getting married. I thought that was.
Yeah, I think it was just the love. Like love is good. Lady Gaga showed up. That was kind of random.
There were a few celebrities that were. It was like Lady Gaga. Was it Pedro Pascal? Was
yeah, he was
dancing. It was all celebrities in there.
Cardi B, Carol G, Jessica Alba. Those are some.
There
other
were
names
more.
I'm
There were
seeing.
more that I don't know.
Yeah, there were a lot, but those are just the names that I'm like seeing right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool show. Really,
Lady
cool.
Gaga crushed it. I do wish it was a collaborator that maybe he had actually worked with before. You know what I mean? And then it kind of seemed like, oh, we have Lady Gaga here because it's like there's got to be a white person in here somewhere. There's got to be a little bit of English in here somewhere. That's what it felt like to me. And I love Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga is if you're gonna throw somebody in there to be that, like, Lady Gaga is a fantastic choice. But I did think that's what it felt like, where it's like, why is Lady Gaga here? And it's like, well, we can't have it all Bad Bunny. But you kind of can.
Gaga. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
Yeah, exactly. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about Puerto Rico?
Hey, maybe a lot, man.
I don't know. I would say that that's my favorite halftime show I've seen. I'm not a huge halftime show guy, I guess, but I really liked that one.
The last two have cooked. Like Kendrick and Bad Bunny,
Kendrick
like,
one was really
absolutely cooked. I feel like whoever books them, like, locked in for those two. Like, two.
So often it's just like, this is a really bland, uninspired choice. The last couple of years totally have not been like that. And not only have they been good performances, but I feel like the hype for the performances themselves have been huge. No, in a way that I feel like it isn't always necessarily the case.
What was the
like
one?
Kid Rock would be a legitimate someone they'd pick, like, in the early 20s.
Kid Rock would be an awful halftime show.
Didn't they pick like The Who one year or something like that? And it's sometimes it's like these people are past their cultural prime, where it's like Kendrick and Bad Bunny obviously are like
Yeah, I mean, getting Kendrick off the Drake beef and getting Bad Bunny off the Grammy win is like absolutely the right time. I mean, they had Usher not that long ago, and it's like, Usher? Like, why are we doing Usher in 2023?
Was it 2022 though? It was Snoop Dogg, Eminem,
2021,
Dre, Kendrick, 50 Cent, Anderson .Paak, like all of those guys. That was a great halftime show.
I will never forget 50 Cent rapping Upside Down, and that
was so fire, bro.
That one was fire in LA.
That's another thing where you're just like, is he lip syncing or did he like train for this? That's just sick. That's sick.
Rihanna's wasn't nearly as strong as like the. She was pregnant, so she can't really like fall off a cliff or anything. But again, kind of past her cultural prime. Like, oh yeah, Rihanna, that's cool, but she's not coming off.
Yes,
Bad Bunny has a chance to be, the most popular pop star in the world. Like, coming off the Super Bowl, I feel like Drake and Taylor Swift are like attainable to him in the country and definitely worldwide, if he's not already above them worldwide. So,
I mean, he might be above them worldwide.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he is above them worldwide. I would maybe not Drake. I guess I don't know.
Let me look this up.
I mean, if you go to like the charts of a South American country and look at them, it's like every Bad Bunny song, like 1 through 100. Like, that's how he is so popular outside of the United States.
Yeah. Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist in 2025.
There you go.
Okay.
Doesn't get much better than that.
And he is doing that right now. Awesome.
Who would you have next year if you could have anybody?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You could pick anyone.
Can I
bring someone back from the dead or like?
No, they have to be alive. And I would say,
can you? Probably not.
I would say that you can say anybody, but I might shake my head if you say someone that isn't like a legitimate option.
I'll give you Olivia Dean.
I saw she won Best New Artist. I don't know much about her though.
Listen to her album. What's the album called? It's The Art of Loving. That album it's so good. If you haven't listened to it, that album cooks.
It's fire.
It's fire.
She'd have to get substantially bigger to play the Super Bowl in a year.
She would, but she's 60 million, 59 million monthly listeners right now on Spotify.
I mean, Bad Bunny's probably at 1 billion.
1 billion monthly listeners? No way. That would be insane.
What is he at?
Let me see.
If Dean is
I'm
at
looking it
50
up.
million,
Holy shit, he's at 90.
90 million?
90 million monthly listeners. Yeah, dude.
I'm honestly surprised it's that low. I'm surprised they're that
Well,
close.
monthly listenership versus
Total.
like your most, yeah, it is very different. Like his most streamed songs have over 1 billion streams. He's got one with almost 2.4. Olivia Dean, I imagine, is nowhere close to that, but she did win Best New Artist. I think she's incredible. I would also I'd throw Rodrigo in there. I'd throw Chappell Roan in there as viable Super Bowl halftime artists. Maybe just have them all out there, dude. That'd be sick. Get Sabrina in there as well.
If you could have like a pop girlies Super Bowl with a couple of them.
I agree, because I was thinking Sabrina Carpenter. And I think I agree that all of those like who have recently been in the Best New Artist, they could mesh together pretty well. And they've got enough like ultra hits where they could.
Yes.
I could see that. I also feel like I don't have my finger on the pulse of who is topping music charts right now as much as maybe other people. Like I didn't know much of. I knew Bad Bunny was incredibly popular, but I never would have picked him, and I thought he was great. So
the guy who we need to be worried about potentially getting halftime show is Benson Boone.
There's no way they go with Benson Boone. That would be so funny, though.
You know what? I'll take any major artist who's got a little something to say. You know what I'm talking about? Like Kendrick had a little something to say. Bad Bunny had a little something to say. It's fine if it's just good music and what's popular, but I think it's better if, there's some more weight behind it. If you can.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yep.
So, yeah, I hope whoever's doing it now, they can pick again as far as I'm.
A dash of controversy.
The all pop girlies Super Bowl halftime show could be sick.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that. I want to ask about the Super Bowl commercials.
They're in the mud. They're in the mud.
The worst that they have ever been, as far as I'm concerned. Yes. Frankly, I'm not somebody who is like massively locked in towards like the commercials. Like I'm looking at my phone a little bit, of course, but I'm paying attention to the commercials more than any other time, of course.
Yes.
And it's just like the number of AI ads. I just don't care, guys. I only want to see what if Blaiden Kirk was an ice cream like once or twice, and then I'm good on AI, man. I don't have that much for it to do personally. So, I mean, and outside of that, was there anything that stuck out as creative? There might be one that I missed, but
the karaoke one I thought was somewhat creative and like somewhat caught my attention, but like everything else was just pure slop. Like I feel like every commercial now is like, what if we had AI make something disgusting, like sing a song? Like how many commercials fell into that category? Like singing toilets, singing pubic hair, singing animals. The animals
it's
don't
like
have
it
to
can
be
entertain your kid is like just like a number, like a high-end number one point they make with the AI, and it's like I just don't know if that's like you're selling this to me as like some great development. Or
the one that killed me the most was the glasses, the AI glasses that like can talk to athletes, and then they're like asking questions like, "Is mud eatable? Can people fly?" Like, what am I actually asking it when I'm like running?
No,
like, I have no question is that the computer.
So many of these AI ads, they'll be like, here's our use case, for example, and it'll make a workout plan for the guy doing pull-ups. I know there was a different pull-ups, like a response to that about whatever. And then you'll like, if you pause the commercial and look at it, you're like, this really isn't like that good of a workout. They really didn't go in. It's not giving me anything that I couldn't find myself searching 15 minutes online on Reddit or whatever, on TikTok or whatever. And if it's something that I'm going to go invest a bunch of my time in, like this, here's how you're going to work out 5 times a week. I want a little bit more than just like the first thing that ChatGPT tells me, which is obviously very vague and very untailored. The best example of this, of course, is the football scouting commercial. Isolate the top 3 with leadership skills. How? It obviously can't do that. None of these AI seem to have any idea about like even who is actively anywhere, because it's like working on data a year behind or whatever it is. So it doesn't work for like that type of stuff when I've tried it out. but how could it possibly know who has leadership skills?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
maybe
it's like,
if you're like building code, AI is useful in ways that I'm just too stupid to understand. But for like,
who's going to get 100 tackles on who's going to be a leader? We are not making it past year 2 of the rebuild.
That's what I'm
We are-
saying, dude. It's
no, you're not.
AI.
I do
has
enjoy that
use
it's a
cases.
Bucks. It is the Bucks looking for linebackers. though.
It's very funny.
I love that it's like it's all the 40 time is what gets him excited. Whoa, okay. Well, that's how many tackles are you gonna get? 100. Whoa. And are they gonna be a leader, ChatGPT? Yes. All right, let's do it.
And then it zooms in on the guy's face, and it's just like he's like, yeah.
I always enjoy when I see that ad. I laugh because I think about what Jokic Joestar said in our group chat. Co-star, who here is a yak merchant? You should
like,
that one should hit main because it's
that
good.
one should hit main.
But
AI
the commercials looked like shit. Like they just looked like shit this year because they all were AI generated. Like there was one about sleepy tight ends or whatever, and like they just like AI generated Rob Gronkowski and he was like blurry, and they like AI generated Bruce Arians and he's like all blurry and didn't really look like Bruce Arians. I was like, what? Why did we do this? Can't you just get Bruce Arians to say something?
It's just using AI for the sake of it for that stuff, but it makes your brand look so cheap. That's what you're spending millions of dollars to tell me that. Okay, I believe you.
Yeah. And that commercial I thought was especially frustrating just because it was like you're using AI and the whole bit is like men are afraid to be gay because it's like a prostate exam, right? That was the whole. They're like, oh, they're relaxed because now they don't have to have a prostate exam. You can just get a blood test to see if you have prostate cancer. I'm like, this is the best use case of AI. Like AI has use cases, but the problem is we don't have the infrastructure to support the dumb use cases. And so that's like its whole other like issue of like AI and ethics as far as like engineering and stuff goes. The two commercials that I had a problem with were the ones that were like, scan my QR code to see the rest of this ad or to interact with this ad or to see the trailer. Like they had the Minions movie or whatever, and they don't even show the commercial. They don't even show the trailer for the movie. It's a commercial that you have to scan a QR code to go actually watch the trailer for the movie.
Minions are fire though.
It's just like,
okay, we're giving them grace.
It's like, sorry, dude. No, not scanning.
In 2020, even in 2026,
and it could be 2036. We're giving the Minions grace.
Not scanning your QR code, big dogs.
But I like great little yellow guys. The
Minions and Monsters. You're in on Minions and Monsters.
Is that what it is? I didn't miss this one entirely. Okay.
It was just a minion on like a white screen. He was running around, and then he was trying to warn us about the monster, and then the monster roared, and it was Minions and Monsters.
And then it was like, go watch our trailer online. The other commercial that was like legitimately horrifying was the Ring commercial, where they're telling you
about the dogs.
They're like, people lose their dogs, and we've been trying to find them for the same strategy for years, but now all Ring cameras hook up together like a surveillance system.
Yeah.
You can find your dog. Like,
your dog, yeah.
Now we live in the Panopticon, bro, and we can use that to.
And the amount of dogs found was like very low. They were like, we find one dog every day. It's like one dog every day.
What else do you find,
for
Ring?
the surveillance state?
Amazon, what else are you finding, man?
Sign up for free. Like, yeah, that one was very ominous.
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, and it's free. I wonder why it's free, guys. Just absolutely.
I would rather get ads for Trump coin though than Burger King again. I'm so glad that's over. Honestly, ads have been so much better recently. Like I'm even scared to complain because I feel like if I start complaining, they're just gonna bring those back, and I'd rather.
Wait. Are you talking about like the Whopper song?
Yes. I'd rather get surveillance
I'd rather
state.
have the Whopper song, dude. No,
I'd rather get Planeteer ads than the Whoppers.
No,
than the Whopper. I'd rather get Homeland Security ads than the Whopper. I was honestly peaches and cream and cookies without the Whopper song, like even though it's all crypto and
Well, it's because
Homeland
there
Security.
was like 8 commercials that are all, we're going to have a really annoying song and then play this commercial a million times, so Twitter starts talking about how much it sucks. It's like, all right, we can't.
Yeah, but don't you
We gotta
love when the
call it.
Whopper song comes on?
No, I don't love the Whopper song commercial.
And then it goes.
I actually hate the Whopper song commercial, in fact.
Yeah, Manny, put the Whopper song commercial.
Manny, you're fired if you do. If you do, I'm calling Bad Bunny and saying you didn't eat your vegetables.
Well, we don't have to put the Whopper commercial in, but we are going to talk about our good friends over at FanDuel. Just because the NFL season's over doesn't mean that we're done talking about FanDuel, because you want to know why betting the winter games on FanDuel makes sense? From game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Curling matches that start slow and somehow get tense fast, speed skating decided by inches, hockey games that feel different from the opening faceoff, and so much more. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Shall we talk about NFL honors?
Absolutely. But I got a trivia question for you guys.
Oh,
real
baby.
quick. Next Gen Stats attributed how many pressures to Will Campbell from this
14. 14 pressures from this game. The most ever tracked, right?
Shit.
I have
14?
no idea, honestly.
I think it was the most ever tracked.
Yeah, ever allowed by any player in a game this season, including playoffs, is what the tweet.
Okay, this season.
14 is pretty crazy. And yeah, not good.
From an entire offensive line would be crazy. From one player? Damn.
It's bad.
Again, I think with some of it's slowing down the crash footage and being, he should have jumped out. He should have jumped out, right?
He should have jumped out. He should have gone.
The sunroof right before, he could have gotten up there, then climbed over to the back. Like he would have been okay if he did this.
Maybe, but like, hey man, does Caleb Williams take as many sacks or?
Yeah, Caleb Williams
I think it'll be. He might, but I do think it'll be interesting to kind of have the quarterback rankings conversation, because a lot of people would have put Drake May top 5 probably before these playoffs. But
it's going to be interesting because like not every single, but like a bunch of the quarterbacks played like tomatoes in the offs. Like Herbert was really bad in his playoff game, and he played better than that in bad situations. Like, how good did he play in that Houston game?
True.
He was balling, and they lost anyway, of course, but he was balling. He didn't play that well against the Patriots. Stroud, obviously, like, you felt like the offense was picking up steam, just completely fell apart and like lost in those games. There's no reason why Houston's defense wasn't Super Bowl level or whatever. Josh Allen had a really rough game and all those turnovers. So, and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. NFL honors,
awards.
though. Yeah, dude. First of all, let's talk about the MVP. That's the thing that people are kind of giving.
Hilarious. When you make the mega woke Herbert vote, you don't think it's literally going to come down to your one. Here's the thing. I have a lot of respect for anybody who can go against the grain like that in general. Not that every vote that's against the grain is good, but certainly like probably myself, like would I vote like the 1 of 50 and then tell everybody? I mean, it depends, I guess, but you got to put yourself out there, and you're going to get a lot of hate online.
Right.
I also
he's
think
been getting, someone like found his phone number
Yeah,
And,
people have been
like,
going.
people have been
He's been
giving
getting the Ryan Day treatment. It's been
people are like
rough.
threatening his family, dude. It's like it's evil shit.
And that's the thing. The other thing is that like that response obviously isn't warranted. I really do think it's bad luck that it came down to literally one vote.
Yes.
If it had been just
But
three, it wouldn't.
The thing is, it didn't, because like if he didn't vote for Herbert, he could have voted for Stafford. He could have voted for McCaffrey. He could have voted for Lawrence.
Matt pointed this out. His second place vote was Stafford.
Right. And I want to say, like, Herbert, I understand what he's saying, right? Completely unworkable situation. The offensive line is 32 of 32 level disaster or whatever. But I personally think, like, as good as Herbert is, and he had some moments this season where I was like, wow, oh my God. And I'm sure, like, he could really win the thing next year if they play their offseason right and blah, 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 whatever.
Sure.
I do think there's a level of actual production you've got to have. And the truth is the Chargers offensive line was, or not the Chargers offense, their passing game was just not that good. It was 23rd in EPA. I think Herbert was like 7th under pressure in EPA per play, 20th kept clean. Like, I understand a lot of people say like, well, like, you know, he had this run when Alt was in where it was better, but I don't really think that holds up throughout the entire season, that when Herbert was clean, they had like the best passing attack or anything. So I really disagree with it as a vote, but I also disagree with the Allen votes. I don't think that those are right either.
Right.
I thought at a point Allen was reasonable. He finished really weak down the stretch. I would be surprised with anybody sticking with him. So I am. The good news for him is that May played really bad. So like going forward, the whole conversation about the MVP, even though it's a regular season award, but the whole conversation will be like, well, May played like crap and Stafford played a lot better against the Seahawks, and, you know.
Right.
My issue is that to pick Herbert as your MVP, you have to weight supporting cast so insanely heavily to the point where you can have like a bottom 10 passing attack and still get his vote, and then you go Stafford at Till. I don't think that really makes much sense at the end of the regular season to say that. I just completely disagree with that logic. I don't see it.
I don't see how you came up with that.
With it.
Yeah.
And I'm you know, I'm not going to go and make and like bang on the drum for it now on TikTok, because you're just going to get a million comments of like whatever about May. And frankly, like, you know, I disagree with it, with the selection, but it is what it is. But I do think Sam Monson got it wrong. I
do think so as well. But I've recently started to come around to like, he is getting way too much hate for it being like, oh, it's the deciding vote, because It's not like they happened, like everyone else voted and then he knew how the votes lined up and then he voted for Herbert. He voted independently. Like all these votes happen asynchronous of each other. It's, I think, unfair to like blame him for why May didn't win MVP.
No, and I think that there were more egregious votes than even Herbert. Like Christian McCaffrey being 3rd place to me, or 4th place to me, 71 total points. Like at the end of the day, he got more love than Herbert did from a lot of people. And with McCaffrey, he averaged under 4 yards a carry this year. He was 40th in yards per carry across the league. He hardly had any explosive runs. Herbert had more 20-yard runs than he did. So, like, I get that he had a lot of receiving yards and he was 2nd in all-purpose yards. And when you watch the tape, you definitely see linebackers and safeties coming down to bracket him and Taunt just catching the pass over the middle wide open. So there's gravity there, right? I understand all that, the gravity plus the total yards. But at the end of the day, like, he's a running back that didn't run the football very well and wasn't explosive. Why not James Cook? Why not Jonathan Taylor? Why not Bijan Robinson? Like, why not? I feel like a couple guys at that position who were probably better than McCaffrey this year.
The offensive player of the year voting was worse than the MVP voting. I disagree.
And he finished above Puka Nacua.
I disagree with the Stafford May stuff, but at least, like, I think you can say you can get down to one really specific thing. I think the schedule is more important than supporting cast. I disagree with that, but at least, like,
or yards and touchdowns, right? Yards and touchdowns.
Like there's real things that I feel like you can point to. The offensive player of the year voting is just like a total mess. I thought, as you know, I've been rocking with JSN as offensive player of the year for a couple of months at least. But I thought it was going to come down to like the last vote for this between him and Puka, because Puka also had a great year. And while Puka is a little bit more of a weapon in the run game and probably averaged like a little bit higher like yards per attempt, I thought that JSN, or not attempt, yards per game or something like that, like maybe a little bit higher volume when you take out the couple that he missed. I thought that JSN like put up these crazy numbers in an offense that really was like, if anything, like limiting him in terms of that, and that if you put him in a better situation, like he really could have gone for the 2K and all that. So I favored JSN in that regard. Puka being 3 is completely ridiculous. Christian McCaffrey being 2 is totally insane to me. I have a lot of I think he was really good and valuable. I agree with the receiving stuff, but like Bijan ended up beating him out in yards from scrimmage.
Yeah,
he had 800 receiving yards himself and averaged over 5 yards a carry. And I'm not saying that yards per carry is the end all be all, but like I guess I can't disagree with the complaints about McCaffrey. And it just feels like people look at the 49ers being good and are like, well, that's all McCaffrey's impact. That's what happened with a lot of the voters. And like, I don't really think that's it. I think it's Shanahan as much as anybody. And I think if you had Bijan in there, like he could make it work too. So I really disagreed with how heavily they weighted like 49ers success for CMC. But then on top of that, you have 8 more first place votes going to quarterbacks. Now, this is not a new issue for the record, but is offensive player of the year supposed to go to the QBs or not? Clearly, there has been a change. Since 2018, a quarterback has not won it. It used to be commonplace for just the MVP quarterback to also get offensive player of the year. And what happened is, in the 2010s, it was decided that the MVP is never anybody other than the quarterback, which by the letter of the law is true. The most valuable player in the NFL is not a quarterback, basically. Or it's very unlikely to be, or whatever.
Sure.
If you wanted to make it most outstanding, I could get behind that, but you know how it is.
Right.
And the concession eventually, I feel like, was that, okay, if the MVP is always a quarterback, offensive player of the year will always be a non-quarterback in that case. Clearly, that is what has happened, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody who's paying attention to the NFL will do that. But then you still have every year a number of voters who are not on board with that. So I feel like there is this like unspoken criteria that you have maybe 75% of the voters on board with and another 25% off. I think that's a ridiculous issue to have. I think I would love to see some people's full ballots. Like Drake May got 5 and Stafford only got 3. So were the Drake May people just more likely to vote him for Offensive Player of the Year too? Or is it this new wave of like, I'm going to split up all my quarterback awards, so I'm going to have one guy first team All-Pro, one guy Offensive Player of the Year, one guy MVP and all that crap? Regardless, like I think there needs to be more of a consensus on whether or not we are giving quarterbacks Offensive Player of the Year. Clearly, a vast majority of voters believe that, if one hasn't won it since 2018 when they're, the most favored in any award naturally. But not everybody is on board. And in close races, I think that's a crazy issue to have. It is.
I mean, Drake May getting 5 first place votes for Offensive Player of the Year feels a bit absurd given
I just don't think that makes sense. And
we
could have it.
I was going to say, my theory is that a lot of people are voting and then they're using other votes to justify. It's like they'll vote for MVP, right? They'll be like, oh, Stafford's MVP, therefore Puka Nacua cannot be Offensive Player of the Year. And, Kyle Shanahan can't be Coach of the Year because I think Christian McCaffrey is Offensive Player of the Year, right? Like, it's like these votes sort of all justify each other. It's like, okay, Matt Stafford is MVP, Puka Nacua is not Offensive Player of the Year, Mike Vrabel is Coach of the Year, therefore I have to give the 49ers something, so let's give them McCaffrey.
There probably is some level of that, but it's tough to really, without like knowing the voters breakdown.
That's why
who is just sitting there and saying like, I think that this guy is just more of the driving force than another, so I'm going to give this one guy this one award in basically his category, but not in another. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's not like an unreasonable thing to think. Now, if you're saying this team did X good, so they have to get, like, you have to reward them in some way, that I think can be an issue. Because sometimes it can be like a team has the third most valuable player and the third, best defensive player, something like that, the second best coaching job. And it's like, well, it doesn't mean you have to vote one of them for first and not give them the others. I also disagreed with Shanahan, like he didn't even come close to winning it.
He was,
And who did it was Vrabel, and who won Assistant Coach of the Year? It was McDaniels. So I just felt like people were assigning all the credit to the Patriots seasons to the coaching staff and not to May, which I didn't agree with. Like, I don't think McDaniels was the best coordinator this year.
And I really don't get how, I don't know how many first place votes Vrabel got. Maybe people were voting 19. So maybe it was a lot of Drake May people also voting Vrabel. But I really wonder if there's any Stafford Vrabel votes in there where it's like the strength of schedule doesn't matter for Vrabel, because if anything, like in terms of just like win-loss, like it matters more for Vrabel, really. Yeah. So I thought, I think
it has, it's almost like most improved player, like Coach of the Year, where like did Vrabel do a better job than Mike McDonald this year? Like, what about the Patriots what about what Vrabel controlled was better than what McDonald controlled? Like, was the Patriots challenges that good? Was their game management that good? I mean, Vrabel's typically very good at those things, but he's made mistakes. Like, he made plenty of mistakes. He kind of disappointed me, honestly, in that regard over the course of these playoffs. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of weird biases towards age and people who haven't got one before. Again, like, why is it that Lamar last year, he has 41 touchdowns, passing touchdowns? Like, he has more than Josh Allen. Yeah, he has the head-to-head win. He has, the higher seed and all of these things. But Josh Allen beats him for like, oh, he's doing more with less type of argument. And then this year, the same people who were making that argument last year are now on Stafford because he has 40 touchdowns and however many yards, right? When they didn't vote for Purdy they didn't vote for Purdy a couple years ago when he was the one seed and he was, or Dak, or like, it's like, where's the common thread here? And I feel like the common thread is just like people who haven't got one in a while or just win or something like that. Like, I really don't know.
The common
really
thread that with the MVP, at least, that I really was shocked that didn't get followed this year is a top 2 seed. I mean, we've had a top 2 seed be the MVP for, the last decade plus. It's so uncommon to go outside and have a wild card team be the MVP, have the MVP of the league. So okay. I don't think it's like totally.
This is part of the issue with all of these arguments is like, okay, I disagree that Stafford wasn't the MVP, but you can't argue that precedent you disagree with should be followed. I think I think everyone's got to step up and be like, when they don't follow it, I'm just going to be on board, because eventually then you get crossed, and then you're just completely arguing for your guy biased at whatever point. And then somebody else says, well, when you had this precedent, and then it never ends.
Well, here's what I like. I like EPA per play. I think it's the best stat that we've got. I think it's better than total yards and total touchdowns. Sure. I like that. And I like stats that can kind of quantify maybe things beyond just that. Like, oh, here's what they did under pressure. Here's how accurate they were. Here's their pressure to sack rate. Here's how often they scramble and how many yards they got on those. I think once you kind of add those things all together, it kind of gives you the best idea of who actually created the most value for your team. And those things all pointed to May. And I think you saw tonight.
Look, I'm on your side.
I know you're on my side. I'm just saying, like, all those things are why I would have voted for Drake May is first in pressure, like top 2 in accuracy.
Yep.
Like 400 plus yards on the ground. Team that I like. Look at the offensive line tonight. Like, look at the play calling. There's still the 2 seed. And then when you think about the precedent is, the 2 seed is probably going to be the MVP over the 5 seed. That's usually the precedent. The precedent is, we didn't give it to Burrow last year when he had 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns damn near. Why? Because he wasn't as successful as the top guys. And we also thought about Chase, and we also thought about Higgins. And when we thought about Purdy a couple years ago, and they were the ones, like, we thought about Christian McCaffrey, and we thought about Kyle Shanahan and the things that he does. But it felt like they were ignoring the precedent that I would like to have set, which is like some of these underlying metrics and some of these efficiency metrics, and they were flying in the face of what they had said before. So I was like, it just feels like we're doing this because you're old. Although obviously maybe May sucks. Maybe they just didn't see what I said. Maybe
they said he's due, and
the schedule. They said the schedule is the thing. But again, okay, Lamar had the hardest schedule of all time last year. So I'm mad at 2 MVPs at once, because Lamar Jackson had the hardest schedule of all time last year and had all of these, the head-to-head win and the efficiency metrics and the total metrics, and it didn't matter.
Clearly, schedule has not been thought about deeply until right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't even think it's completely wrong to be like, let's think about schedule. Like, it's certainly a factor or whatever, but like, yeah, this is new, thinking about the schedule this hard, as far as I can remember, at least.
I agree.
Maybe
my issue is just, it's a consistency thing. Like, I just want their, like, at least have the same principles.
I want them to be consistent and use good principles.
Yeah.
I don't, if they were consistent with principles that suck.
Yeah. Now they have to be inconsistent to get it back on track in our view, right? They have to change whatever it is.
Yeah, I guess
but
that's fair.
At least Stafford is like second, like again, Stafford is like a clear second place in my mind, and obviously a clear first in a lot. And he did have a more iconic season. Like, I was talking to Derek Klassen about it, and he was talking to me about, like, look, when I think back at the 2025 season, I'll think about those Seahawks games that Stafford had, and I'll think about the Jaguars game where he balled out, and he mentioned the Houston game week 1. Like, there are just some performances that he had, even though he didn't maybe have the consistency. Like, there was the Atlanta game, there was the Panthers game, some low points that May didn't really have. Like, he really did go into big time games and play well in a way that May just didn't have really an opportunity to, because they played such a weak schedule. So he's like, I can understand. And I can understand that too, but also, like, I feel like when you have Nakua, you are a lot more liable to have a memorable season, right? Because freaking Nakua is pretty damn good, and I wish he might be the best. I think it's bad hoops to give it maybe MVP to somebody there's a better player on the team, but I get it. Like, Stafford really did have, like, ball out against some really good defenses, and I mean, look at what the Rams did versus Seattle, especially in the wake of their Super Bowl. I mean, they averaged 28 points a game against Seattle, and the rest of the NFL averaged like 14, I think, against Seattle. So, it is what it is. It's not the worst thing to ever happen. I did feel strongly one way, but it doesn't mean there was a big gap. It's just that I felt the edge was clear, if that makes sense.
Like I said, I'm more frustrated by the Offensive Player of the Year voting. I think the Offensive Player of the Year voting is just completely nonsensical. And not everyone's even working on the same criteria. It'd be like if you had like a group of 12 holdouts who were like, I don't know if it should be a quarterback like this, and we're treating it like, just most outstanding player or whatever. That's the equivalent. You have a number of people who are not voting on the same criteria as the rest of everybody. And I don't think it's like totally unreasonable, because I'm sure a lot of these people have like had votes since like an era before where it just didn't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Breeze won Offensive Player of the Year not that long ago.
Yeah, the most recent was Mahomes.
Mahomes, right? Mahomes. Yeah. Mahomes did it.
But like, not only have things changed, it is a good change. It is good to have MVP always go quarterback, if that's how we're going to do it. Offensive Player of the Year goes to a non-quarterback, so there's another chance for another star to win. And then, okay, non-offensive or non-quarterback offensive player will always be a yards getter. So we're going to have Protector of the Year.
I wonder who some of the
chance at a major.
I wonder who some of the lost Offensive Players of the Year are, because quarterbacks won in 2018, right? That wouldn't fly now. So who is the top actual offense? Like, if you were judging it by today's standards, what skill position players have been robbed?
You could I guess you could go look up like.
I mean,
Pro
it was
Football
Todd
Reference
Gurley.
has-
Todd Gurley would have gone back to back if you eliminated quarterbacks from the conversation.
What's interesting is they did it sometimes. I don't think it was always the MVP. So what they would do
Guess
is they
what?
would
Matt
give,
Ryan won MVP and Offensive Player of the
Yes,
Year.
he did.
I believe Cam did as well.
David Johnson would have had an Offensive Player of the Year if it wasn't Matt Ryan for both. Cam Newton won it in 2015. It would have been Antonio Brown, who I don't think ever got one.
Right. And it's like, that's obviously wrong. Obviously, he was Offensive Player of the Year at some point in his career. He had seasons like that. I mean, I guess him and Julio maybe had their best seasons like at the same time, so it could screw with the whole thing. But
Yeah.
another thing that people need to stop doing with the awards voting that I've realized this year, you've got to stop saying, well, last year this guy did this and he didn't get blank. So this year this guy did. I think that in terms of like, I saw a lot of people say this about Jamar Chase. And I feel you, like Jamar going for a triple crown, not getting Offensive Player of the Year, bad break, right? That stinks. That's how it played out. But like, the reason why JSN or Puka or whoever can is because they're going up against a completely different group of players.
That's a good.
Like,
That seems obvious to me. Yeah.
It's not the same, like, at all, guys. If Jamar, in the same way, I don't know. I don't think Jamar would have won the Triple Crown if he had that stat line this year, because it's not the same season. So I think it's fair to point out if, like, you know, their criteria changing, and it's like one guy did one thing and it's not valued the same way. But if the issue is just that they're going up against different performances, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking at this Offensive Player of the Year voting and I'm getting mad because guess what? 2018 Mahomes wins Offensive Player of the Year. He also wins MVP. 2016 Matt Ryan wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. 2015 Cam Newton wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. 2013 Peyton Manning wins Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. 2010 Tom Brady wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. 2011 Aaron Rodgers wins MVP. He didn't get Offensive Player of the Year. What's with that? They robbed him of some hardware. Some Drew Brees won Offensive Player of the Year. Why? What's with the change, guys?
I don't remember, like, what were they? Any sort of, like, we're going to give one quarterback. Well, I'm so against all of that. It is unbelievable. That's worse than even some people saying a quarterback can win Offensive Player of the Year.
Is it the same people that vote for first
Yes.
team All-Pro that vote for the MVP and stuff?
I believe so. It was last year, right? That's why it was ridiculous that Lamar won first team All-Pro and not MVP. So.
If it is the same people, like, that truly makes no sense. Like, how can your criteria be that, like, someone is first team All-Pro?
We talked about this before with the first team All-Pro. There's just like, well, there's a difference between being valuable and being first team All-Pro. And it's like, if there is, ignore it. It does nothing for anybody to be like, this guy is first team All-Pro, but not MVP.
Right. Yep.
All that's in 10 years, you really have to think about these awards in the way it's like, how are people going to look back on this? Because that's what they're used for. When I look back on the 80s MVPs or whatever, I don't have the context. Most people won't have the context, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there can be no, like, well, here's the they're just going to look at that and say, like, why the hell did this guy get first team All-Pro but not MVP? Or this guy got MVP and he got offensive. This quarterback was MVP, but he wasn't Offensive Player of the Year. But this quarterback, he was MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, but maybe not first team All-Pro. I'm sorry, it's just a different thing entirely. It's like, none of that.
None of it.
Here's a trivia question for you. There's two guys who have won Offensive Player of the Year 3 times. Can you guess them? I'd be very impressed if you got either of them.
Okay, did Breeze do it?
No, it's not a quarterback. I'll tell you, they're both running backs as a hint.
Oh, there's two.
There's two running backs are 3-time Opoys.
Opoys.
Hold on.
Is LT one of them?
LT is not one of them, but it's a good guess. He won it in 2006.
What about Falk?
Falk, ding, 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 3 times. Yes. Good job, Matt.
Okay.
2000, 2001, and 1999. One of the best 3-year runs in history of anybody. I talk a lot about that 3-year run, like over the course of my time on this podcast, but yeah, that's one of them. The other one is older. He was 70s. He was 1978, 1979, and 1980. 3 years in a row he did it.
1978, 79, and 80.
It's not Sweetness, is it?
It's not Sweetness.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You wouldn't have said it was so
Yeah, that.
He won the
would be
year
too
before
easy.
this three-peat. He won before this three-peat, but he did not three-peat.
I'm trying to think of Hall of Fame running backs from the 70s.
That's what I'm.
It's not a.
Wow, this is
Tony
the first
Dorsett.
3 years. This is his first 3 years in the NFL.
Whoa.
MVP
That's
second place,
19
MVP first place in 1979, and MVP second
Shoot.
place.
Oh, I feel
right
like I
off the
should
bat.
know this then.
Theo, is this a Dolphins player?
No,
Okay. Because I'm like, that feels late for Dolphins, but
MVP.
he's an MVP.
It's not Dorsett. It's
I didn't realize he had this type of start to his career.
I'm feeling very stupid right now. Is it?
You shouldn't feel stupid. It's not a super easy guess, but it is someone that you know.
It's someone that
Maybe your dad has
know?
described him to you as his favorite runner and that he ran so hard and people ripped his jersey and he was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry. How about that?
Eric
Christian
Dickerson?
Okoye?
No, neither of those
yeah,
two.
Dickerson was like 80s, like early 80s more so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a very big guy, angry runner guy.
Was it?
I'll give you maybe one more guess each and then I'll just say it.
It wasn't Jerome Bettis or someone.
No, you're way too late.
Okay.
Matt.
I got nothing.
Earl Campbell.
Oh.
Earl
Okay.
Campbell started his career with 3 straight offensive players of the year in a quarterback, back when quarterbacks could win, and 3 straight first team All Pros and 3 straight top 2 MVP votes.
That's sick.
Okay.
3 straight rushing titles.
How many offensive player of the years did they give Breeze? Just the one?
2. They gave him 2.
That's so funny, dude. They're like, you're not the MVP of the league.
What years did they do it like close together, or were they like, well, we're not going to make him MVP, but we're giving him the ultimate respect offensive player of the year? And then it'd take like another 5 years, and they're like, honestly, we gotta charge it back up because he's
Drew Brees, he got it in 2008, and Peyton Manning won MVP. Peyton Manning had 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Drew Brees had 5,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. So
that's tough.
There must have been something beyond the box score there.
I'm sure.
And then in 2011, it was probably one of the great races of all time when Rodgers had 4,600 yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and Breed had 5,400 yards, 46, 14 interceptions.
Shit.
How did the voting come down for MVP that year?
Rodgers almost was unanimous. It was 96% to 4%.
Wow.
Whoa.
Which was valid. Like, Rodgers was better that
Packers
year.
fan, by the way.
I was.
I'm telling. Look at the EPA. Look at the EPA under pressure.
How did Cam do?
In 2015 or in 2011?
2015.
In 2011, how did he do an MVP race?
Would have been.
Was he not unanimous? No, he wasn't.
I have no.
No,
He got 96% of the vote. He got 96% of the vote. Palmer and Brady both got 1 vote each.
Damn.
So it really
Theo,
was pretty close.
Theo, would you mind telling the good people about our good friends over at Square?
Yeah, support for today's episode comes from Square, and they've got big news. During Square's biannual releases event, they launched a wave of innovative new tools to help local businesses run faster, smarter, and more profitably. From AI that answers your toughest business questions to tech that simplifies food orders and tracks every dollar, It's all live and it's built for a business like yours. Whether you're starting fresh or scaling fast, Square helps you keep up and get ahead. And right now, listeners can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/stayhot. That's SQUARE.com/go/stay-hot. One word. Visit Square to get started because the right tools make all the difference. I was just at my favorite coffee shop, a Metropolis Coffee in Denver, and I noticed that they were using Square, and they run a tight ship over there. Very good business, multiple locations around the city. Gorgeous place, and I know it's because Square helps them out. And again, Square just launched its most powerful tools yet. It's designed to give local businesses a competitive edge, but without the complexity. It's easy to use. So if you're ready to sell smarter, run faster, and stress less, right now you can get, again, up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/stayhot. Again, SQUARE.com/go/stayhot. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
Sweet. Yeah, man. we'll use Square to start sell. We should have used Square to sell our merch IRL in person, especially with the Emerald City Route Artist stuff going so viral during
Square would have. We could have made bank. Yeah,
we could have made a zillion, man. We could have made
wouldn't have had any merch to sell of it. It happened too fast.
We should have anticipated it going triple platinum Vi and had the merch on standby is what we should have done. And I bet Square would have been able to help us with that. The last thing I do want to ask you guys before we get out is how was your trip back from San Francisco?
Absolute hell. Oh my God. Truly the worst flying experience.
Please, I want to hear.
Is this true?
Yes. Maybe not the worst flying experience I've ever had.
Recency bias, of course.
Literally every flying experience you have is pretty rough. On the way there, actually, yes, it is. It's always bad. It always sucks. It's always uncomfortable. I'll say this. On the way there, both times, relatively full plane, seat next to me open. It was magical. I was on a run. This time, first plane you get on, it's so hot. They haven't turned on the AC or whatever. And it's just brutal and it never gets cool. So you're just sitting there sweating your ass off. There's nothing you can do. Finally land. Then I'm sitting around the airport for a 3-hour layover, whatever, just under. It's it's a really long time, but okay. Next plane, I finally have a window seat, which sucks. You have no room.
Okay.
And I'm really bunched in. It's also too hot, but not as bad. But then, sorry, a mechanical issue with the plane. We got to sit on the runway. Now, and we're waiting.
That is ass.
They come back. They come back over the intercom. No lie, 35 minutes later. Sorry, guys, we're still waiting on the people to come. It's ridiculous, and it's you're really. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm a baby, but when you're sitting down, you're all right. I'm gonna start hurting sitting here, my back and my shoulders, and just my butt's gonna start hurting.
We're tall fellas. We got
legs
long legs, man.
It's it hurts, bro. And it's we haven't even started the timer on this sucker yet. I'm not even that close to home. I got 3 more hours of flying to do.
Yeah.
And we got there, and it was fine, and now I'm fine, and it was all fine, but it sucked. Regular plane stuff, totally uninteresting.
Yeah, I
sitting on the runway when it's hot and it's uncomfortable and
I always have.
And you can't do anything. You're I'm just gonna sweat through my jeans, I guess. Okay.
I at least always have the benefit of I take Dramamine before every flight because of my motion sickness, and so I fall asleep pretty quickly.
I got to get a neck pillow. I can't fall asleep on planes because the back of the seat doesn't go up high enough. So
not gonna lie, a neck pillow, I don't think it helps.
But you'll be maybe this will help, maybe this will change, but no, it's not going to. You're gonna
you're gonna lean back in your seat with a neck pillow, and you're gonna be this is just not a sleeping at home.
No, here's what you do. You see the guy next to you has the neck pillow, falls soundly asleep. You're damn, it really. Oh, I get it now. That's the issue I have. Oh, it all makes sense. and then you buy it, and you're like, not only is this not mechanically the issue,
I'm hot.
also
more
like
hot.
I'm too hot. Also, like it's really scritchy. I bought a scritchy one. I thought like it's no big
Scritchy.
deal.
You bought the
It
wrong
sucks.
one. That's the problem. You gotta
So it's
buy.
like it wouldn't
Is that what
have
you thought
solved it,
when
but-
you get drafted, Bryce Young?
So the other teams.
I got a scritchy one, bro.
Bryce Young.
I got a Rumpy Dumpy do ass neck pillow, bro.
Comparing quarterback prospects this year to neck pillows.
I got a scritchy one.
I'm just saying that's how that stuff. It's not even what happened. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, I've also
yeah.
the neck pillow, but also
I don't have this
your
experience
torso
where
long.
every flight sucks for me. Like some have been bad.
I just
but
think it's so uncomfortable to sit in a plane. I mean, like after like 30 minutes, I'm ready to tap out, or at least I'm in the mode where like I would completely readjust. There just isn't enough room.
The difference, Theo, your flight was what, like 2 hours?
Yeah.
Matt and I had like a 4-hour flight, and then we had a
Yeah.
layover, and then like another hour flight. So like,
I just if Matt had a 2-hour flight, I know he'd still be talking about the scritchy.
it was.
Like I know.
I guess the
Peaches
flight
and
to New
cream
Orleans.
with
I
a
guess the
2-hour
flight was
flight,
New.
bro, but-
Well, the New Orleans flight was like 2 hours probably.
Matt
I
drove.
probably. Oh, I did drive, which was also terrible. It was even worse. I should have flown.
Why did you do that, dude?
You drove, and then your car got towed.
Actually,
in
I
New
do know
Orleans.
why you did that.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna,
yeah.
I know exactly why you did that. I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, I was stopping to see a girl, so I was.
Had to
I mean, you
see
could do
about
that
what?
on a plane.
Had to see about a girl.
I'm not. I'm not.
Gotta s-
I'm just like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Also, my window seat was the wing seat. I couldn't see anything at all. And then I
You're
look
looking.
over,
You'd be
the
looking
dude-
out the window. You're.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Yeah,
looking.
yeah.
I might as
I feel
well.
you.
I'm not gonna have anywhere to be personally myself and have to scrunch up and be in pain. I might as well get the look.
Well, Matt,
You're not
the
running the
miracle
Retro
of
Bowl
flight.
dynasty.
Oh, I did after the first 10 minutes of looking out because I had to crane my neck down because I had the wing seat. I look over, the dude in the middle seat's getting a better view than me. It's ridiculous. I shut that thing. You can't look either.
Well, Matt, you
And
know
then I
that
lost.
the-
And then
the
I
window
lost the
seat
Super
has
Bowl
the
and
most
Retro
room.
Bowl because my defense is so bad and I fumbled.
Oh, what's your Retro Bowl team looking like, Matt? How's your?
Apparently ass. Apparently you went to win on
apparently.
I'm never gonna play that again until I'm on another flight.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
I might
it's
play
flying.
It. I might play it tonight after
Retro
the
Bowl
podcast.
is
I might play it tonight.
Dude,
after
I was
the
in
podcast.
I was in a Tiny Wings flow state on the way there. Have you ever played Tiny Wings where you're a bird?
This is like
and
your
you-
favorite game. It's the one where you're like the hills and you have to like go down at the right time to.
Yeah. I got like my high score, which is a high bar, like 3 times in a row. I was in a flow state.
I play Brick Breaker, or I play a game like Brick Breaker called Balls with a Z. I should.
Oh
say.
yeah.
My record's
I know.
595 on that sucker.
You're big shit, man. I was reading, so
I also read, so you can't even big dog me here. On the way back, I got through 3 chapters.
I watched
Yeah.
film on the way there. On the way back, I was like, I'm literally too mad to do anything else. It's like I'm too uncomfortable. I have to play something like as distracting as possible. Reading's not quite the level as football game, so we're going football game.
yeah, I guess that's true. I was reading Gatsby, so
I was reading Bleak House, but then I got to chapter 10 and it started getting really boring. So I still got to get through chapter 10. They're talking about, like, I don't know what they were talking about in chapter 10.
Mid 1800s. The standard for what was an interesting book back then,
Bro,
obviously.
it's actually really up till chapter 10. I'm like, this is all low key interesting. And then they get to chapter 10. It's like some lawyer sitting at his desk, like writing something. I'm like, what? Like, this sucks.
nah,
It's
dude.
like, I got to get through chapter 10.
You gotta.
bro. Maybe I'll skip
it has
chapter
to
10.
build. No, you can't skip chapter 10. It has to build out.
Skipped it. It was boring.
But you
Boring
skip
odd
a whole
chapter.
season, and then you're gonna get to chapter 11, and you're like, who are all these people? I don't know. And you're gonna be mad.
I need to bring back Esther, bro. Like, I don't need the Esther plot back. Like this I don't even remember bro's name. This like lawyer subplot was not moving me. But whatever.
Whatever. But your flight was good, Theo?
What's going on with Ada and Rick, bro? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So you had a good flight?
Oh yeah, it was actually very smooth.
Nice.
She got on and got off. Like no delays. So
I did almost miss my connecting flight. I was gonna be pissed if I got stranded in Chicago. I'm like, at least if I'm gonna get stranded somewhere, let it be warm. Like, holy shit, if I have to go and be cold in a place without my luggage, I'm gonna like actually lose my mind. Because my flight out of San Francisco was late. And then luckily my connecting flight gate was right next to my arrival gate. So even though we arrived like right as boarding started, I still made it with time to spare. So shout out. I mostly slept that flight anyway, but made it home safe and sound. There's a foot of snow on the ground still. I hate it here, but NFL season's over. Time for draft time. And yeah, no more 1 a.m. podcast recordings for like another 6 months, and that'll be magical. I get to go to bed at a reasonable hour. Thank you all for tuning in.
It's our year.
Another episode. It's
by the
our
way.
year.
Yeah.
It's our year. I don't know what that's a reference to or if that's a reference to something, but it's our year. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. I promised you all a vlog of Super Bowl Media Week. It is almost done. I will say it'll probably be out around the same time as the podcast. So if you want to go and tune into that after you've listened to this, feel free. It'll be on the Stay Hot Patreon. And if you're not subscribed to the Stay Hot Patreon, what are you doing? Go subscribe to the Stay Hot Patreon. It's a lot of good draft content, a lot of good NBA content, and you'll have the story time, Stay Hot Super Bowl Media Week vlog type stuff. It's over 40 minutes long. So I think it's a good little watch, good little listen. But until next time, as always, from your favorite fellas here at Stay Hot, we hope you had a wonderful 2025-2026 NFL season. And until next time, we will catch you on the flippity flop.